Good morning, people of God. Y'all have to excuse my appearance these last couple of days. I'm tired. I took my braids out and I'm just trying to give my scalp a rest. I don't want to put no gel in it. I don't want to do nothing. Just wear hats for the next few days just to give my scalp a break. And I'm tired. I'm so sleepy right now. I don't know what to do. I don't know why I slept decent last night. Anyway, I just came on here. This not even. I don't know. This I was watching some videos yesterday on YouTube, people talking about this shutdown, this government shutdown. It's really not the government shutdown, it's the democratic shutdown. And I keep hearing people talk about how, and I was saying it myself, the Democrats are shutting it down because they're trying to get health care for illegals. So if we pay attention to all that has been unearthed over the last, I don't know, let's see, this is the end of October, so 9 months since January 20th. All the stuff that's been uncovered and revealed and outed, all the stuff that Doge dug up and exposed that these Democrats was doing, all the money that they were funneling through this, funneling through that, and filling up their pockets. People talk about Jasmine Crockett only making 175,000 a year being a representative in Congress, yet she's worth 9 million, all this different kind of stuff. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Do y'all really think for 1 minute that this fight is about illegals getting health care? No. It's about illegals getting health care so they can funnel some more money. That's what that is. They're not fighting this hard for any human being other than themselves. If they're fighting this hard, it's so funny how they keep doing stuff to try to make Donald Trump look bad. And it backfires. It's like, at what point are you going to stop chasing the roadrunner? The coyote never catches him, okay? It's like they keep, we're going to do this and then we're going to blame Donald Trump. Okay, first of all, Donald Trump didn't have a vote in them opening up the government. They passed a clean CR. Don't ask me to explain that. I understand it enough to understand it, but I can't explain it. So basically, they're not voting on the bill. They're voting on the bill. It's just so ridiculous. But they keep saying, it's the government, it's the Republicans. Okay, the Republicans, I think they said there's only 53 Republicans. Now, last I saw, and I may have missed something, Rand Paul, who, Kentucky, vote him out of office. Please replace him with another conservative. Don't replace him with a Democrat. But vote Rand Paul out of office. He's such a rhino. But last that I saw, he was the only Republican that voted no. Now, did he change his mind? I think they voted at least 12 more times. I don't know if he's sticking to his guns or whatever. But so they still needed, I want to say seven or eight, either Democrats or independents. Um, nobody's even talking about the independents to vote on this, whatever it is that they need to vote for to open the government. So basically, 99.9% of Republicans have voted to open the government. So the fact that the government is closed, that's 100% on the Democrats and independents. I don't know how many independents it is, but apparently the independents, unless maybe one of the dependents, I don't know. I would have to research that. I don't care enough really. But they're doing all this fighting, and everything that they do keeps backfiring on them. It's going to make the government look bad, and then you try to say it's the Republicans because they refuse to give us what we want. But what you want is not what the people want. The people don't want that. We want the illegals out of here. We want them gone. And just the ones that are committing crimes. Every last one of them committed a crime when they stole into this country. We want them out of here. So we sure as freaking heck don't want to pay trillions of dollars out of our taxpayer money to support their health care, and then the crazy stuff that Senator Kennedy, that man is so funny. I love him. Where he was spelling out for you, go look it up. He's spelling out for you all the crazy mess that their demands are. It's so anti-American. And I'm gonna say this. I am like most sane people. I'm for legal immigration. I'm for people coming over here the right way. But because of what this country has been through for now, don't let nobody in. Give us at least 5 years to recoup. Give us at least 5 years. Nobody comes over here unless it's an absolute dire emergency, like the Christians that are in some of these other countries that are being murdered by Muslims. I don't understand, if anything's being done, if any conversations are being had about that. But if it's not like somebody's about to lose their lives, we need to close America for at least 5 years. We need to be closed. And then we need to start heavily looking into some of these ones that did come over here the right way. Because I think it's an atrocity that New York is 40% immigrant. Come on, y'all. Y'all need to use some wisdom. Can't let everybody in. But, I guess after the rapture, all that'll be moot. So who will care after that? But anyway, think about a track record. The thing that we need to understand is I believe that people can change. When I used to work for the IRS in Dallas, there was this coworker that I had that was constantly getting caught stealing. She had a reputation of being a thief. And one day, one of the other coworkers had a $20 bill come up missing. They immediately blamed her because that's how that works, right? They immediately blamed her and turned out it wasn't her. And I honestly can't remember because, so like 30 years ago, if somebody else took it or if the person who was missing it found it. I can't remember what happened, but it ended up not being her. So that's a person, though. That's a person. But the devil, you should never, ever, ever expect the devil to not be the devil. Ever, ever. The Democrats have made it very plain. We are all about us. We are funneling money. We are thieves. We don't care about nobody but ourselves. We don't care about the people. We don't care about you. We don't care about this country. If this country falls and becomes null and void, worse than a third world country, we don't care because our pockets are full and we could go buy us an underground luxury cave when it all comes down to, the destruction of America. They don't care about America. They don't care about nobody but themselves. And if you think for 1 minute that they're holding out and keeping the government shut down because they care so much about illegals, they want to give them health care so they can get the vote. Okay, their vote is the only thing they care about. But let's just be clear here. What is hidden in all this stuff that they're trying to make the Republicans bow? You're going to bow to us because this is what we want. No, baby, that's money being funneled some way, shape or form back to them. It's not about funding the illegals. It's funneling the funding of illegals to themselves is what this is really about. And I'm hoping that there's somebody in the government that's researching this crap. I don't know if Doge has been disassembled or if they're still working in the background or whatever, but I hope somebody is researching that because I believe that with all my heart. And I kept hearing people say, they care more about the illegals. No, they don't. They don't care about the illegals. They don't care about nobody. They care about themselves. And anything that they're doing for illegals, understand me when I tell you there is something that they're getting out of this, and it's in the millions. And if it's not the billions and however much, whatever, but these people don't have all these millions of dollars because they're honest politicians. We need to realize and understand that. I say get them all up out of here. When you get through getting the worst of the worst up out of here, go get the rest of them. Get them out of here. And this is something else I don't understand. I'm not. Yeah, I used to work for a law firm, but I don't really understand how the law works when it comes to this kind of stuff. If the Supreme Court said that these lower judges have no power, if the Constitution says that these lower court judges have no power over the decisions of the presidency, why are we still even responding to them? Why can't we just ignore their filings and just keep doing what we're doing? I don't understand that. If ICE and Homeland Security answer to the commander in chief, why are they still yet required? And I'm asking this question, and I'm not, this is not a fuss. I'm literally asking the question. Why do they even have to respond? I don't understand. I don't understand it. But and I'm praying that the Lord would give them wisdom, that somebody would find a way to get rid of these judges. They were appointed. Can they not be unappointed? Because when you look at all that Donald Trump has been able to do thus far, fighting all of these little these little baby kids running around here, how much we could get done if we didn't have all of those thorns to have to pull out of our legs as we try to run. It's quite ridiculous, and it's really annoying. I can't stand the Democrats. I can't stand them. I can't stand leftists. I can't stand y'all. Just evil, just plain evil. And this is the thing. And I've talked to she's actually my boss. I call her my coworker, but she's actually my best boss. I could say it about a few people, but she's one of the best bosses that I've ever had. She's a sweetheart. And she and I, we get together and we talk about this stuff from time to time. And we were talking about how so many people are being given over to reprobate minds. It's like you look at some of these as Tyson James says, blue-haired devils, and you look at their behaviors and the stuff that they stand for, and it's like it doesn't make sense. You sit up and you're like, how is this sane to you? How is this? Because a lot of these people have been given over to a reprobate mind. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them have been given over to a reprobate mind. They no longer have the ability to reason. They no longer can determine right from wrong. And then most of them are mindless robots that just go along with whatever they're being told. If the Democrats say these people are this or these people are that, then they run with it, and then they get a whole emotional attitude about it. Their whole inner being just buys into that thing, and they just pour. And it's like, you got to know how to pray. You got to know how to pray. You got to know what you're dealing with. How can you, and I'm not saying, God, when you pray to the best of your ability and to the best of your knowledge, God knows how to take that, and he knows all things. But I'm just saying, there is power when you understand what's going on and can pray according to knowledge. It's an important thing. Understand what it is that we're dealing with. These people have been given over to a reprobate mind, and now not all of them, that we can still pray for the ones that still have possibilities. I'm seeing videos every day of people coming out of that leftist mentality. Their eyes are being opened, and they're seeing the wickedness. They're seeing how crazy some of this stuff is, and it's like, well, Lord, thank you for another one. Thank you for another one. You pray behind that they receive Christ, because being a conservative don't get you into heaven. Republicans don't have the elevator to the throne room. Okay, so you pray that these people would receive Christ and receive salvation through Jesus Christ. But we talk about this, and I told her, I said, I really and truly believe that the way that God is working through Donald Trump and the way things are unfolding and everything, that I don't believe the Democrats will ever get into power again until after the rapture. I believe that. And it's too much has been exposed. And we look at how everything has unfolded. We were upset when they cheated us out of the 2020. And then, of course, I was upset. I wasn't devastated because I've learned to pull myself back when things happen. And I pulled myself back and said, okay, let's see what God is doing. Let's see what God is doing, because God raises up kings and he brings down kings. Why is it his will right now for Joe Biden to be in the presidency? And as the days rolled by, it all unfolded one by one, little by little. And all the information we have now, we would not know how bad the swamp actually was had all these things not been allowed by the hand of God. Because you do understand the enemy can do nothing without God's permission. And speaking of all of that, I look at how Donald Trump used to be a Democrat. He voted Democrat. He was a Democrat and everything, and then all of a sudden, he's like, I'm going to drain the swamp, and he switches sides. That's why they hate him. But you have to wonder what happened. I think that he got information on exactly what these people were doing. I think that Donald Trump, he's not a perfect man. One thing I get really annoyed with is when people be like, always want to talk about how he ain't perfect. They always want to talk about, well, yeah, none of us are. You ain't, I ain't, none of us are perfect. We all need Jesus to get into heaven. We all have to say, Lord, forgive me for something every day. No, he's not a perfect man. But I think that he has a good conscience about right or wrong, basically. We all do. I mean, we all do things. We all choose at some point, no matter how big or small in our eyes it is, we choose to do the wrong thing every once in a while. You might go around somebody in traffic because they're driving ridiculously slow. Yeah, if you did it in front of a cop, you get pulled over and get a ticket. So you know that it's wrong, yet you chose to do it. So, and don't be like, yeah, but that's not the same thing as cheating on your wife. And I don't know if it's even been really determined that he actually cheated on his wife. I don't know if he's ever admitted to it. I don't know, and I don't really care. I'm not judging that man like that. But I believe that basically he has a moral conscience. And I think that when he got privy to what these people were actually doing, it made him mad. Why? Because he genuinely loves this country. He genuinely loves America. And he was like, nah, I cannot have the millions, the billions of dollars that I have and do nothing. I'm going to run for president. They were trying to get him to run for president for years. Oprah, don't you think you should run for president? Now all of a sudden he's your enemy. Why? Because his reason for running for president messed up all of y'all's pocketbooks. And he became enemy number one. They used to call him the Donald. That's how beloved he was. He was the Donald. These people are so shallow and crooked and wicked. How many millions do you need before it's okay? It's just trifling. Anyway, I just want to come on here and say that. The government shutdown has nothing to do with illegals, except that they are a conduit for them to funnel more money into their own personal accounts. And I hope somebody is looking into this, because crooked people never fight this hard for somebody else. They don't fight for anybody. Everything that they've done for the illegals have been about and for them. For them to shut the government down and just ruining their reputations, more and more people are coming against them, and more people's eyes are being opened. You're blaming it. It's Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump didn't have a vote. He didn't have a vote. Donald Trump didn't have a vote. I want y'all to let that sink in. He did not vote to keep it open or to close it. He didn't have a vote. Okay, this is the Senate. All right. And almost all of the Republicans voted yes to keep the government open. So the government is closed 100% because of the Democrats. And the Democrats are not fighting this hard to keep the government closed because they want the Republicans to give in to their demands so that they can help the illegals. No, it's so that they can help the illegals so that they can fund the funding that they're trying to get for the illegals partially through their own accounts. It's selfish. This is totally 100% selfish. Doge and already jacked up a lot of their little highways of incomes. So they're just trying to recoup some of that money back. Anyway, I just want to come on and say that I did not mean to talk for 20 minutes. Y'all forgive me. Y'all have a blessed day.